Hello everyone. About 2 weeks ago, I made a video talking about my thoughts and on the update notes of Currency Wars 0.4. And so now I want to make an update video basically going over how I feel about things now. It being 2 weeks later, I've gotten a lot of experience with it. I've gotten to level creative 50. I believe I played every Himiko bond you can do. And with all the fake characters actually being in the game now. Alright, so this video will probably be in the 3 main topics. Will be the 4.4 update, the hope I have for the 4.7 potential big update, and its massive change that might be coming. Which I say potential because if you go here, this little timer for all these missions will run out around the time 4.7 will potentially hit. So if they follow Divergent Universe, it's going to be like a huge update, but not too much will fundamentally change at a space level. So I would probably see, well, I expect probably like a whole new list of traits, a lot of trait changes, and cost updates. Overall, just make the game to feel fresh. Because it definitely needs that right now. Alright. So, Himiko Nova. If you don't remember, Himiko Nova can turn into energy, elation, shield, skill points, debuff, and break. I believe she can turn break, right? I don't know. I haven't got the Himiko Expert Advisor yet. That's one thing I haven't been able to try. I'll get into that problem later. But Currency Wars with Himiko is probably the most interesting character to have released. And I say that while my Himiko is the trial version, I don't even have her to begin with, so with how strong she feels. Wait, that's my green wheel. Where's space? I mean Nova. There we go. Oh, you can't see the different buffs in here. Maybe I need to go to the trade. What's navigator? Okay. But where was I? Oh yeah. Talking. Yeah. But anyways, Himiko, I think, does best when she's with the skill point trait. At least from my personal experience. But I also think, is it not listed here? Or am I just blind? Anyways, Himiko Nova, I think does best with the skill point trait. I think her worst one is probably the energy trait. But I think that's probably an issue with the energy bond in general rather than just Himiko herself. Elation is pretty fun. Shield is very wonky. You have to be able to play it right for it to actually work. And debuff is just, I think debuff just gets carried by Walt and how strong the action value timer he can add. Yeah, Himiko Nova, I like what they did. She's pretty strong, even for a trial Himiko. Yeah, so I hope at least when the video comes that Nova at least stays around, even if it gets changed a little bit. What were those eyes? Anyways, the fake characters, Vin and Gilgamesh. I didn't choose Gilgamesh on this account. I did choose E1 Archer. But, yep, see, no Gilgamesh. E1 Archer. But my experience so far, I do also have an alt account with E1 Gilgamesh. So I at least have some experience, at least not using his trial version. But yeah, my thoughts on them so far. Rin is pretty sweet for Currency Wars. You're not gonna expect her to do damage. Maybe if you have some items on her, maybe she can actually do some damage. But with the trial Rin, I mean, like, don't expect that one cost in these games to fully do damage. Her main point is to come in and do her joint attack with Archer and to give skill points. And she does that job pretty well. Especially in skill points where you get extra turns as a medium prize reward, I believe it is. I don't remember if it's medium or large reward. But the interesting thing about Rin's joint attack is that it takes priority of those extra turns. So when you have Sparksy taking like 20 turns in a row, Rin will actually come in before all those extra turns, do her joint attack, give extra skill points. So the next extra turn of Sparksy will have more skill points to work with. And I believe that's a huge buff to Sparksy. It would be a huge buff to Sparksy if you are going to get taken out skill points. But yeah, it works pretty well for Sparksy. It works well with all the other all the other skill point characters. Also, just to show how insane it is, I managed to get 999 points on this patch. Pretty insanely easy. So yeah, it will require a lot of luck, especially if you do it without using the Bellabar strat. Like you can do it a whole lot easier this patch. Alright, now for Go to Mash, I think it's pretty underwhelming. It might also just be the energy bond in general, but Go to Mash, even running with 3-star Go to Mash, 2-star Go to Mash, I think he's mainly honestly just a saber bot. Like, I've had most success running Go to Mash with like 2 of the red boots and just making them extremely fast. What were they called? Anti-gravity boots? Okay, yep. Like, just put like 2 or 3 of those on Go to Mash and watch Saber go crazy with the joint attacks. And I don't even have Saber either, so I'm rocking with Trial Saber, and that's how I've had most success with it. However, that still falls behind if you don't manage to get a 3-star Saber pretty early on. That honestly might be just the fact that it's a Trial Saber. But yeah, also some other notable changes they did. They put Sampo and Esper Advisory and put Jiaocho into the dot bond. If you can get Sampo as an Esper Advisor, dot bond goes crazy, which has the fact that you can go 4 dot without needing high ceilings early on. However, if you don't, I think it's a little bit weaker, but it's overall on the same strength. I think if they didn't buff Jiaocho at the baseline, it probably would have been so much worse. Like beforehand, you couldn't ult with him automatically at a turn, and now you can, which is very helpful for him being a dot bond. And he still heals, so you don't exactly need a healer early on as well. So you can just go full on damage early game with Jiaocho until like stages like 1-5, 1-6 maybe, depending on how your star levels are. By the way, all my opinions are based around the highest ranking World Creator 50. I'm not bothered to do anything else. I'm not, like, my opinions aren't going to be based on the lower levels. I'm talking about the higher levels. Yeah, what were some other notable changes? Night Soul. Was it Night Soul? Night Soul. I believe that's... I think that's gotten a little better with Mighty going into one cost, as he is more accessible to get stronger early on. But I think it still struggles if you don't have E2 casters on your account. Extremely hard. As I've always heard, I've heard people say Night Soul is extremely good or extremely bad. And the main difference between I hear from everyone saying it is if they have E2 casters or not. So I feel like that might be a little bit problem there. Oh yeah, Morton's Blade. I forgot about Morton's Blade. He transformed the debuff trait, I would say. Usually with debuff bond, you would need to have some anti-gravity boots on Pella. And now you don't really need that because Blade just makes it to where when anyone hits on your team, they just give a debuff. Which makes stacking on Akron and Yang a lot better. And the buffs they did to Yang were insane. He actually feels like a character now. A lot better than freaking Evernight. I have spite with you in Currency Wars. Anyways, I miss when she was a 3 cost instead of a 4 cost. She felt so much better. Yeah, I believe My Day really transformed the debuff bond. It's actually pretty insane now. I believe it's probably one of the best bonds you can run, especially if you have Akron and you're not using Child Akron. Or if you just have like a really built insane game changer or well. My experience, I don't have Akron. I am using Child Akron and I have most success playing with her.
Is there anything you need?
Who can't love this little ball? It's so cute.
Always at your service.
Anyways, yes, Akron pretty good, debuff pretty good. I don't think My Day transformed the Bloodflame trait really at all. Yeah, like it got a little buff, but the mini blade being taken out kind of also hurt it in a way early game. But it might just be my experience, at least.
Is there anything you
Yes. If you have an E2, if you have an E2 Morton X Blade, you'll probably go insane in Currency Wars. You can probably run him front lane. Would he still create an item in the front lane? I don't know if that gets blocked or not. What are those eyes? Anyways. Am I missing anything else? I haven't been able to really touch Himiko being an expert advisor too much at all. Because I think out of all the ones I've done, I've gotten one expert advisory. And that was for Sampo. Well, I chose Sampo, I mean. Himiko was not even an option in either. That is one thing I hope they change. We won't have a Currency Wars update until 4.7. But, wait, is is this timer the same as the mission timer? Yes, yeah. So we won't have a Currency Wars update until 4.7. So, we gotta stick what we have until then. But I hope they at least make it to us expert advisors. I like the idea. I like the idea that in fact that they all have investments based around them to make them really good. But when you get the selection, I think it feels terrible. Because there's a lot of expert advisors now. And you only get like 3 or 4 options. I don't remember which one it was. Yeah, you only get like 3 or 4 options. And it's completely random. So if you don't get who you're looking for, you're kind of just stuck picking gold. And it's like, with how rare they are, they aren't even that strong. Like the strong versions of those characters are when you get an investment with them. Like, there's an investment with Mose to where his strike does like 600% damage. And he actually gets turned into an actual carry. But I feel like getting Mose from a expert selector is more rare than getting the freaking investment for him. I know they won't follow all the TFT basics, but if you play TFT and you play Currency Wars, you will know there's a lot of one-to-one stuff. That's like very changed, like just a little, just to make it match Currency Wars. And the concept in TFT is that they always talk about is rarity strength. If something's really rare to get, it is usually insanely strong. Whereas we know they follow that somewhat with their 3-star 5 cost. Like Firefly, if you get her 3-star, she can keep ulting non-stop. Cyrene adds like 99 damage implication, gives you a whole bunch of stuff. Silver Wolf, the hardest one to get because you have to go through an entire list of 3 cost, 4 cost, and then 5 cost. She transforms literally your TFT experience. You can make it harder. You can make it the easiest thing ever, depending on how you want to take it. Yeah, so like they use the concept of rarity strength a little, but with how rare especially varieties sledges come up, you wouldn't think they'd be so weak without this specific investment. So I feel like maybe when they update TFT, when they update Currency Wars again, they need to make it to where maybe you get them like once every round that you play, or maybe like maybe like at the start of the game, maybe you have like a 50% chance, so you would get on average every 2 games.
Is there anything you need?
Unless they want to actually increase the strength of the characters to make them really strong. Like, one notable thing about Mose, when you have his investment, is that he doesn't take up a team slot. Which I think is really cool. So why is the investment less rare than the actual advisory ticket? I don't know. I'm kind of just rambling at this point, but my thoughts for the next update is mainly just, I kind of talked about it a little. I kind of ran away from my original point. I was explaining this in segments. But my hope for when they update this is that they mainly just change around the traits a lot. Like, I expect to have a lot of the scroll bonds still. Like, I don't see DOT going away. I don't see shield going away. Break, I still think following. I could see energy maybe going away. AoE attack. But if some of these don't go away, I could see them being reworked. Fraction bond, I expect these to be entirely changed. I could see a few staying around. Like, I could probably see a Fate, the Holy Grail of Destiny staying around. Or maybe at least getting reworked. But yeah, if they don't get changed name-wise, I hope they get changed fundamentally and do completely different things. I can also see a Special Force staying around, as that's like the main thing of the game. But yeah. I don't think they need to change items, except for a few. Like, why can Evernight not work with half the items? I won't say half the items on the list, but there's like 3 items that she can't interact with like at all because she's not the one hitting. It's her main respite, which I think just feels bad as an Evernight main. Also, why would she change to a 4 cost? I'm still spiteful about that. Like, why? She feels so much worse in my experience. And keep in mind, this is someone with E6 Evernight. Granted, all her items are mainly supportive, except for E2 and E6. But like, she's mainly like a buffer in Currency Wars for casters, which, as I mentioned before, I hear mixed feelings about Bloodflame and Night Soul and TFT. And it's like completely different feelings on it, and the difference is having E2 casters and not having E2 casters. If you guys have different experiences, so let me know. But yes. Also, I wouldn't mind potentially when I do Currency War streams.
Is there anything you need?
if people need help ranking up to their currency wars ladder. Like if they're struggling, I wouldn't mind doing it. Like do some currency wars help streams. So let me know if you guys would like that. Yep. I will keep doing streams, random currency war streams. I can't promise when or when they might not be.
Is there anything you need?
I probably won't make too many videos on currency wars itself, just saying that there's not really an update until 4.7. What I'll probably do is when the big update hits is I'll probably go through, make like a video of going through each different trait. Like maybe like have a run of where I'm doing each different trait at the maximum difficulty, explaining how it might work, what you might want to do. Also, actually one video I might do in the future is how to run a trait list team comp. Because I don't feel like people do that often enough. Like sometimes there's some traits, or if you're just unlucky enough, you might not even want to go into full investment into a trait and just focus on character synergies. Like a good example is when I run Evernight. And I'm not worried about the Night Soul bond. I'm always grabbing a Siren just because the synergy is just too good. And RMC. Yeah, my entire frontline sometimes when I'm on Evernight is basically this team here. Since all of them are frontline characters. Well, Evernight can be backline. I mean offfield, but yeah. Yeah. It doesn't even work that well to begin with either, which is really, really sad. Like I have to high roll to make Evernight work. Which it's not the worst, but there's some pretty low lows.
Listen with me.
And the highs aren't even that high. Yeah, enough rambling. But yeah, that's my thoughts for currency wars moving forward. I honestly just rambled on way too much more than I wanted to. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. If y'all want any specific currency wars content, or if you guys might want help flying to the ladder, just let me know. Alright, see yas. Ball.